Hello, everyone. This is Professor Hatch. I am, ironically, this is one of the last assignments you'll have to do this semester, but I'm recording the video first for reasons completely unknown. It's 9:30 at night. You didn't need to know any of that, but I like to share. So I want to talk about how to find academic sources from scholarly peer-reviewed journals for your annotated bibliography. Let's look real quick at those assignments. They're identical. You have to do two of these, Abib 1 and Abib 2, identical assignments. Yeah, as we go back and forth between these two, you can see they're identical. One of them is due November 19th and one of them is due December 3rd. So like, what is that? 2 weeks apart, I guess. Anyway, what do you need to do for these assignments? You need to find 3 sources, and you're going to be doing this as a research group because the research project is going to be done in groups. So if you have 5 people in your research group, then you are going to have to find 3 sources per group member, and they have to be unique sources. You can't all turn in the same 3 sources, obviously. So if there's 5 people in your research group, that is going to be 15 unique sources that you need to turn in. Obviously, you are individually only required to find 3 sources for this assignment, but you will be turning in a document with 15 unique sources. Unless one of you flakes or, something happens, in which case you can turn in a document with 12 sources, and the person who didn't turn in sources won't get the points. And that's not to be a dick. That's just, I don't want to punish anyone for someone else not being able to do the work. But obviously, I'm also not going to give points for work that wasn't done. Anyway, moving on. So how do you find sources? How do you find sources from a scholarly peer-reviewed journal? And doubtless we will have talked about this in class, but we are also going to talk about it right now. And I'm going to start by opening up a new tab and going to CSUSB's homepage. And then we are going to go to the library. And then right down here on the right is a link that says choose a database. You're going to click on that. You are going to click on E. And right down here, EBSCOhost, Academic Search Premier. I suppose you can also click on J for JSTOR, which is also a really good database. I just tend to use EBSCOhost, but whatever. Let's click on EBSCOhost. And keep in mind, you will be painfully familiar with this by the time you are watching this video. You are going to be researching systemic racism in whatever institution in society. So if that's medicine or education, I've been doing a lot of research about problems with equity in education lately. There's a lot of systemic racism in education. Just saying. Or, the systemic racism in the world of retail or Hollywood, or the systemic racism with environmental issues. The systemic racism exists in literally every pillar of society. If you can think of it, I guarantee you there's systemic racism within it. There's systemic racism within the cosplay community, which is not something I would have thought of had a student not pointed it out to me. Okay, so systemic racism. The first thing we're going to do is just look for I don't need the caps look on systemic racism. We're just gonna, let's try with education. That gives us 688 results. Let's actually just do systemic racism. And then I'm actually going to go to the advanced search here. And I'm going to type in education. So this gives us 977 results, and obviously you aren't going to be reading anywhere near that much. Why would anyone read that many? So the first thing you want to do is narrow your search down. Over here, where it says limit to, you want to put a check mark in the box that says peer reviewed. You don't have to put a check mark in the box that says full text, because oftentimes when the library doesn't have the full text, like look right here, the baseline assessment of systemic racism in education and pharmacy curricula. It doesn't have the PDF, but it gives you an option to search for the full text, and you can also like send a request to the library to find that PDF, and they'll sometimes get it back to you within 24 hours. It's pretty great. For the sake of this demonstration, we're just going to put a check mark in the box that says full text. And then the last thing that we're going to do is knock the search date down to just the last 20 years. So 2003. Because I don't care what anyone had to say more than 20 years ago, especially like systemic racism. Sure, maybe. What if we were researching, I don't know, female reproductive rights? You give a rat's ass what anyone in the 50s had to say about that? I hope not. In any case, I'm just gonna, let's see. No place for hatred, university president's responses to Charlottesville. Okay. Maybe that's got some useful information. Let's look at another title. Dismantling and eradicating anti-Blackness in systemic racism. You know what? Let's just look at that. I'm going to open this up in a new tab. Here's the article. Over here is the PDF. I strongly recommend just saving that link as, you know, PDF, and then surely that will bring up a box that does that, or not. Okay, you can also just click on the thing and it'll pull up the PDF, and you can click on the downward pointing arrow icon here, and that also will download the thing to your hard drive. Also, let me show you a couple other things as long as we're here. Over on the right, you'll see some icons here. One of them is the Google Drive icon. If you are logged into your Google account and you click on this, it will upload this article to your Google Drive account, which is awesome. Over here is a yellow icon that is your citation tool. But before we do this, let's actually go back. First thing we're going to do is look at the abstract. Anti-Blackness and systemic racism are longstanding pressing social issues that have received increasing attention in the counseling psychology literature. All right, let's just pretend this looks like I can absolutely use it for the research project I'm working on with 4 other people. So we're going to do this. We are going to open up a Word doc. This is the Word doc I was using as a title card because I am too lazy to actually learn how to make title cards. I'm going to open up a new Word doc. What do you need? Let's look at the assignment requirements again. You need do I actually not say? I guess I don't say. I'll have to clarify that. Your Abib should contain 3 sources per group member, and what you need for each one of them is the references page listing, which is here, and then a summary of the article. And I literally swiped this from the abstract, and I'm okay if you do that too. If you do that for other classes, your professors might lose their shit, but it's okay for my class. And then 1 sentence saying what it is, why is this a useful source for your project? We'll be able to use this source to illustrate some effective ways to support blah, 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 blah. Clearly this was a different project. In any case, let's go back to the Word doc. Actually, let's go back to the source. I'm going to take this citation tool right here, and I am going to click on it, and I am going to scroll down until I see APA 7th. I am going to highlight that. I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to take it back over here to Microsoft Word. And of course, this works very similarly if you are in Google Docs, although, you know, the school provides Microsoft Word for you for free, right? Anyway, so I've got that there. the formatting was a little wonky on it, but whatever. I've got that there. And then the next thing I'm going to do is include the summary of this article, which once again, right here. Is this lazy? Sure. But why would you reinvent the wheel? Also, I know everyone is working a job or taking 5 classes or working a job and taking 5 classes or doing all of that and raising children. I have reasonable expectations for what you're actually going to be doing, because I was a student, believe it or not, I was a student. What is the date? It's June 10th, 2023, and I was a student literally 3 weeks ago, well, I was just about to say pulling my hair out, but let's be honest. In any case, so there is your reference page listing. And if you really wanted to make this correct, you would highlight that, go to paragraph, select hanging indent, and then hit OK. And then there's your summary. And then finally, one sentence. We can use this source in our project to highlight issues with systemic racism. And I'm literally just going to put a big blank there because no one wants to watch me think on the fly, especially given how late at night it is. So there you go. That is one annotated bibliography entry. If you do this 3 times, then you are done. And if you have 5 people in your group, you'll be turning in a document with like 15 of these. And that's it. That's how you do, that's how you find sources from an annotated from a scholarly peer-reviewed journal for your annotated bibliography. I'm going to stop my screen share real quick. Why do we use scholarly peer-reviewed journals? Because, and I'm just going to put this bluntly, and if you've got kids nearby, maybe pause right now, but because scholarly peer-reviewed journals are the best way we have to not talk out our ass. They are literally peer-reviewed. So if I am an expert in whatever field and I write an article about systemic racism in education and I submit it for publication to a scholarly journal, then before they publish that, they are going to have 3 random other experts in my field review my work to make sure that I'm not just talking nonsense, to make sure that I'm not spewing bullshit, because bullshit is spewed everywhere. I don't care. I mean, obviously it's spewed in like news source websites that have a specific political agenda, whether it's a conservative agenda or a liberal agenda, but also legitimate, what I would consider legitimate news sources, they screw up all the time. And they don't fact check the way they should. And why? I don't know, but they don't. And so when a person is being interviewed by a legitimate news organization, he is not under the same rigors of academic publishing. And he is allowed to spew, or she is allowed to spew whatever bullshit they feel like spewing in that moment. And if the news organization doesn't fact check them, then they report that nonsense as news. And it turns out it was just bullshit. So scholarly peer-reviewed journals, that's why we do this, and it's why I make you do this. And also, no Google Scholar, I want you to use our library's academic database, because I want you to get used to doing that. You're going to have to do it. Other teachers will have the same requirement, and you're going to have to do that. Okay. Anything else need to be said? I don't think so. This might have gone on just a little long, but hey, it's for 2 different assignments. All right, I'm going to stop talking. If you have questions, obviously, if you have questions, text me on Remind, right? Of course. Talk to you soon.